Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, please. I'm John Pinesco, and on behalf of my wife Marie and I, we'd like to welcome you to the Pioneer Greenwood Cemetery, previously known as the Greenwood Cemetery, previously known as the Masonic Cemetery. It's about 120 years old from the first burial. By the way, this is not a solemn funeral occasion. This is a celebration where we are accomplishing something that should have been done 100 years ago. So you can leave your cell phones on. We don't have any music today, so any call that comes in will substitute for that music.
$50 fine in our book.
Normally, at this point, we would have an invocation to invoke the presence of God at such a gathering. But look around you and realize what's happening today. We have a gathering here of well over 100 people because of someone none of us have ever met. None of us have ever touched any of these girls. And yet they have touched every one of us enough to make us leave whatever it was we were doing today to come here for this occasion. So whether you call it by any name, whether you call it the universe or the spirit of the girls or the community love, I call it the presence of God, which is already here, and we give thanks for that. It's time for the unveiling. Let's start with that. The headstone is thanks to more than 100 donations, and here it is. Yes. The largest donation we need to recognize came from Stickland Funeral Chapel, which provided this at our cost. We could not have afforded it otherwise. And we'd like Daniel LaPont to wave his hands here from Stickland. Thank you, Daniel, for what you've done. And unveiling the headstone was Peter Lamont, who helped pour the base. That's a 4-ton base. Wow. It will be here 100 years from now. Thank you, Peter. The headstone is here because of a series of remarkable coincidences. I won't tell all of them. That would make a great book someday. But for instance, it's a remarkable coincidence that my parents both drank regularly at the Eagles Club across the street. Because I would come here to visit with them, and that's how I learned about this place. It's a remarkable coincidence that after their deaths, I received some terminal diagnosis and came here because I knew this was a place at peace and felt compelled to make a promise to God. And I think maybe many of us have done that in the past, but I said, I promise to restore this as long as you'll keep me alive. I can tell you the restoration is going to take a long, long time, but we've gotten this far. But it was a remarkable coincidence that we felt compelled to check the history of this place. And there we found this story of the girls that had been buried for so long and unknown in the community. It was a remarkable coincidence that I felt compelled to publish a local history book. And in the chapter on coal, we were half a page short. We wanted to fill up the page. And I thought, well, let's put the story of the girls in the history book. And it was a remarkable coincidence that Gordon Adlin happened to read the history book and decide to write a column in the Chronicle describing this. And Gordon is here today. Can you at least wave, or do you want to stand up and wave? We owe a great deal to Gordon Adlin. He felt compelled to write about it. And it's a remarkable coincidence that Terry Walker read that column in the Chronicle and decided to get involved and to dedicate a year or more of his life to researching what really went on. And we'd like to welcome now to the microphone Terry Walker to tell us a little bit about the girls. This man knows more about them than anyone on the face of the earth. So welcome, Terry Walker.